Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the National Timely Action Hour. This is the show where we talk about everything from comic books to movies and everything in between. My name is Aidan, and I hope that you're doing well today. So this is the final part of my 12-part review of Marvel Superheroes Secret Wars, written by the late Jim Shooter, with art by the great Mike Zeck and Bob Layton. And let's get one last look at this book. This is a 2011 printing. It has a cover painted by Alex Ross, which recreates the cover of issue number 1. The back, with all of the information, has the cover by Mike Zeck of issue number 8. But yeah, so issue number 12 here is the cover. It looks very, very cool. This was published in April of 1985, so at the time of recording, which is August 2025, it has been 40 years since this story concluded. And boy oh boy, is this issue very cool. So there's a little blurb. It says, transported to a strange planet by an all-powerful being from beyond the universe called the Beyonder, the mightiest superheroes and supervillains of all were gathered to fight the ultimate war. After many epic battles, the heroes, led by Captain America, had conquered all who opposed them, all save one. That was Dr. Doom, who managed to wrest away the godlike power of the Beyonder himself, and used it to utterly destroy the superheroes. Stan Lee presents Marvel Superheroes Secret Wars. Issue number 12, written by Jim Shooter, penciled by Mike Zeck, inked by John Beatty, lettered by Joe Rosen, colors by Christy Scheel, and edited by Tom DeFalco. This issue is called Nothing to Fear. ... And as you can see from the previous issue, the Doom base was utterly destroyed by a bolt of lightning. And I really love the opening narration here. It says, 21 lie dead here. 21 heroes blown to pieces from a bolt from the blue. Captain America, Thor, the Wasp, Captain Marvel, Hawkeye, Iron Man, Professor Charles Xavier, Nightcrawler, Colossus, Cyclops, Storm, Wolverine, Rogue, Magneto, Mr. Fantastic, The Thing, the Human Torch, the Hulk, Spider-Man, and Spider-Woman. All are but carrion now. Blood oozing from the mangled remains of their flesh sizzles across the smoldering debris of their once mighty fortress. From a distant peak, denizens of the alien village which once served as a refuge to the heroes, witness the smoke spreading across the sky. Then it shows Zaji and a few other villagers arriving to see if there are any survivors. And then we cut over to Doom's fortress, where he and Ulysses Klaue are discussing how Dr. Doom needs to get control over the powers of not only the Beyonder, but Galactus, that he had also stolen. So Dr. Doom seals up the power within him, and he needs to rest. And he's like, don't let me fall asleep, because if I start dreaming, then all of reality can get fucked up. And then we cut over to the chunk of Denver, Colorado that the Molecule Man had sent into space. They're flying towards Earth, but the villains are, concerned, namely Dr. Octopus. He was like, how do you know that we're going to get back to Earth alive even? We could be traveling for billions of years because we're billions of light years away, and we could, all die here. And he's like, just calm down. Meanwhile, the Enchantress is using her magic to learn more about the Beyonder, and I really like how she speaks in a Shakespearean manner, the same way that Thor does, but this water nymph that's giving her the information talks like a valley girl. I think it's a very funny juxtaposition. But after that, the lizard starts tweaking out because he needs to be in the swamp, and Volcana manages to calm him down. And then Doc Ock starts crashing out. He's like, "Ow! How do you know we're gonna get back alive?" and all that, which I already mentioned. And he and the Molecule Man briefly fight before Owen subdues Otto. And the Enchantress tries to, wants to kill Volcana so that she can use her life essence to contact Odin to let him know that Doctor Doom plans on becoming a god himself and usurping Odin's power. And because Enchantress is like, I like this universe, I want it to survive, so I gotta let Odin know, otherwise we're all screwed. But Lizard doesn't understand this, and he and Molecule Man see that she's draining the life force out of her, and they attack her. She teleports away back onto Battleworld, but just as the Lizard gets within reach, and so they both get transported, and he slashes her face, and she's like, "Oh no, now Thor will never love me," because that's her whole modus operandi is she loves Thor, and all of her evil schemes are in order to further that goal of making him fall in love with her, either naturally or through guile and manipulation. But Doom falls asleep, and Claw, I'm not going to bury the lead here. Claw is being possessed by the Beyonder, who is trying to sow the seed of doubt in Doctor Doom's mind so that he can then take his power back. And I really like this panel here where Doctor Doom's splashing water on his face, trying to wake himself up. And he's like, "What do you say?" Because this is when Claw starts to sow the seeds of doubt that the heroes are actually dead. So he's like, "What do you mean by that?" And I really like that panel, the way that it has shadow and the way that Doom's eye is like looking off to the side. It's really, really cool. Then Claw projects this image of what happened, and basically Zaji went into the base, found Colossus, sacrificed herself to heal him, and then Colossus, who had his metal form up, is able to be brought back, and so he finds Mr. Fantastic, and because of his stretchy powers he was barely alive, and so he puts him in the healing pod, and then he and Reed use the healing chambers to resurrect everyone, basically. And I love Doom's face when he realizes that Mr. Fantastic is alive. He's like, "Oh my god." And this panel here as well, it's great. He's like, "Oh no." And so he's like, "Claw, why would you tell me this? Because your whole hypothesis is going to make me subconsciously resurrect them." And obviously this is all part of the Beyonder's plan. And I really like this part at the bottom of the page here, where he's like, "No, they can't be dead. Let me read this to you. But if I do not let the power rise and refresh myself, eventually I shall grow weary and fall asleep. And then, this is madness. I must drive these thoughts, these doubts from my mind. They are dead. Dead! Dead! And yet, how many times in the past have I thought that Reed Richards was dead? And if there were one man who might overcome the odds, it is Captain America. No, they are dead!" I love that. It's just so well written and so well rendered. Then Mjolnir crashes through the wall, and I love Doom's face here, and Claw. He's like, "The hammer of Thor!" And the stress causes Victor to start, losing control, and the galaxy starts being torn apart, and he just barely manages to keep control of himself. And Ulysses is like, hey, give me some of the power so that I can help you, and then you can keep the rest of the power contained within you. And I really like this panel right here. I think, I could be wrong, but I am most certainly, certain that it is a reference to the Creation of Adam painting by Michelangelo. And I really, really like this panel here where the heroes are charging in. Thor is recalling Mjolnir. Captain America's shield was destroyed in the blast. And Wolverine's got his claws popped. And they're charging in. Reed is stretching out. Iron Man and Human Torch and everyone else are flying in. Hulk's jumping and Spider-Man's web is attached to his heel. I really like that. Hawkeye's notching an arrow, and Spider-Man's spider sense starts going off, and these monsters that Claw created are coming out to attack them. And it's really, really cool. And he also uses the power to recreate Ultron. And I really like this double-paged splash. And I know that the upcoming Avengers Secret Wars movie is based on the third Secret Wars event from 2015. But, it would be really cool if they used elements from this Secret Wars, because this story is very, very well written, and it's just really cool. And so the Thing is fighting one of the monsters, and he starts reverting back into Ben Grimm. And She-Hulk manages to save him. And then Hulk starts fighting Ultron, and that's really cool. Then Wolverine, Iron Man, and Spider-Woman help Hulk. But during the fight, Hulk's leg is broken. And I love how Wasp flies into this hole in Ultron's chest, and she takes him apart from the inside. That is awesome. Wasp can do really cool stuff like that, and I haven't read a lot of stories featuring her, but the ones that I have read, she's able to do cool stuff like that with her shrinking powers. And this is a really cool panel here where Cap is charging at Claw while the heroes are fighting off the monsters, and he's thinking, now's my chance. I gotta get past Claw, get to Doom, and stop all this nonsense. And Claw's like, I know what you're thinking, Cap. You can't get past me. And I love how he just drop kicks him. And the Beyonder, as I said, is possessing Claw. So he's like, yes, everything's going as I planned. And I love how Doom's just casually drinking some wine. And he's like, yes, Captain, I knew you'd make it. He's like, all right, Doom, this bullshit ends right now. And he's like, please, let's be civilized. And then he's like, you know what? Never mind. I'm tired of you always getting in the way. You, Richard, Spider-Man, Hulk, all you morons getting in my way. I've had enough of it. And he starts, letting the power rise up. And he actually manages to kill Captain America with an energy blast. But the Beyonder resurrects Captain America. And Doom blasts him again. He's resurrected again. This happens a few more times until finally Cap socks him, and it's epic. And the power starts surging out of Doom, and he's like trying his darndest to contain it. And then the Beyonder's like, okay, now's my chance. Comes out of Claw, gets his power, and then sends Galactus's power back into Galactus, and then sends Galactus to his Herald, which I believe is Terex at this time. I could be wrong. In the comments section, let me know who Galactus's Herald was in 1985. And while you're down there, please suggest any future videos you'd like to see, and let me know how I did in this review. And if you're new to this channel and want to check out more comic book reviews or action figure reviews or anything like that, please subscribe, ring the bell to be notified when I post new videos, and share it with your friends. And if you enjoyed this video, please click the like button. And if you did not like this video, then I do apologize, but you can hit the dislike button. And in the description of this video, I'll leave a link to my Patreon page and merch store. So if you'd like to support this show financially, I'd greatly appreciate that. And I'll leave a link to my podcast as well. And I'll also leave a link to my social media profile so you can send me a message and stay up to date on my channel. But Beyonder takes his power back and sets everything right. And Cap's like, huh. Well, that was easy, I guess, except for, you know, being killed a few times, but I'm alive now, so that's all that really matters. And they seal up with a giant boulder, Doom's castle, and they have a funeral for Zaji. And yeah, then they go back into the remains of Doom base so that they can, you know, recoup and find some technology to get their asses back home. And Spider-Man is munching on some alien snacks, and he hears a ruckus. He's like, hey, what's going on over there? They got a big TV on or something? And we see that some of the heroes have gotten new costumes, including Professor X. And he's like, yeah, listen, Storm, you're still, you know, the leader of the X-Men, but since I can walk again, I'm just gonna, you know, take the lead on a few missions. Then you and I swap back and forth every now and then. And she's like, hey, whoa. You appointed me to lead the X-Men before you could walk, you know. And so now all of a sudden I'm just sidelined. And he's like, no, you're still in charge. And she's like, ah. And Spider-Man's like, hey, are you guys' new costumes talking to you too? And I love Johnny's like, no. He's like, not important. This is obviously setting up the alien costume saga when they get back to Earth. And Reed is tending to Hulk with his broken leg, but he can't really fit him in any of the healing chambers. So he's like, you'll have to deal with this metal splint and crutch. Sorry, Hulk. And Hulk's like, Hulk not pleased by this outcome. And Hawkeye's like, Hulk is getting more savage again, so I better make some special arrows over there. And Dr. Connors, who earlier, I didn't go over this at first, but after Lizard slashed Amora's face, she blasts him with magic, and it seemingly killed her. And it seemingly killed him, but it actually, you know, reverted him back into being Dr. Connors. And so he woke up a few miles away from Doom Base, so he just stumbles in there, and they're like, oh, good. And Spider-Man's like, oh, thank God, Dr. Connors, you're you again. And so Reed is like, okay, so I have a theory about what's going on here. So, you know, Ben, you reverted back into human, and, you know, all this weird stuff's going on, like Lockheed got a new dragon pal, and so I'm guessing that since we won the Secret Wars, the Beyonder kept his word, and we're getting all of this wish energy mumbo jumbo that's allowing us to, you know, get our wishes. And Cap's shield, like I said, was destroyed in Doctor Doom's attack on the base, and so Cap managed to collect all of the shards and pieces, and then he just wishes hard enough, and it's boom, back to normal. And so Reed whips up a teleporter to send them back to Earth. Colossus is, you know, mourning the loss of Zaji, and he doesn't want to go, but Professor X convinces him to come back. And then they all go back, except Ben, who's like, I'm going to stay here and have my own mini-series. So you guys go back, but She-Hulk's going to take my place on the FF. And Reed and Johnny are like, are you sure? He's like, yeah, I'm going to come back to Earth. It's just, now that I'm human again, I want to do some soul searching and have a mini-series set on Battle World, which is actually pretty cool. I only read a couple of issues of it, but I enjoyed it. But yeah, so then the rest of the heroes go back, and Ben sits on a rock thinking, and then we get a little blurb here going over what happened to the heroes and villains after the event. And then we get some information and advertisements about the toys, some pictures there. And then we get sketches of everything, and yeah, just a bunch of cool bonus material. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is Marvel Superheroes Secret Wars issue number 12. And this concludes my 12-part review of the 12-part series. And in the next video, I'm going to do my final thoughts and a recap and review of the story. So stay tuned. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.